What's up, everyone? It's DSP, and this is my first video series on my channel, DSPStreetFighter. So what I want to do is answer a lot of questions that I've gotten, during my time that I've been on YouTube about joysticks and what do I think are the best joysticks, what joysticks should you buy if you're going to play video games. So this video series is going to be regarding the MadCatz series of joysticks that have come out over the past year. First, we're going to talk about some of the ones that came out for Street Fighter 4 specifically, when that game was released in 2009, and then we're going to talk about some of the newer joysticks. But first, I want to talk about this one right here. This is the arcade fight stick. This is probably the most common one that you can find in stores right now. It is a smaller stick. It's not a giant one. But as you can see, it is a white design. It has a nice Street Fighter 4 art on the front. It comes in this collector's edition box. This particular one I have here is for PlayStation 3, but you can also get them for Xbox 360. What I'd like to do is kind of open this up for you and show you exactly what it looks like and give some comments about what I think about this stick. So let's pop this sucker open. This is actually a brand new stick I have not opened yet. This is one that I purchased specifically for the Super Street Fighter 4 launch next week, so when my friends come over, we're sure to have enough joysticks to play the game with. Now, how the hell do I get this thing open? Sure not very self-explanatory. There we go. So we got that there. Here we go. Ah, it lifts up, I see. So, first of all, what was pretty cool about these sticks, as you can see, you get bonuses and things with it. With this particular stick, you actually get the moves list from Super Street Fighter 4 with all kinds of information about the focus attacks, the ultra combos in the game. So if this were like the arcade version of Super Street Fighter 4, this is the kind of thing you find stuck on the arcade cabinet, but because, this is the home version, a home console version, they decided to go ahead and actually include that with it, which is a pretty nice bonus. So anyway, here's the stick. We'll slide it out. It's obviously got some protective foam around the edges of it, so for shipping purposes, there's no problems. Get that foam out of there. We'll get this box out of the way. So this is the arcade fight stick. And as you can see, the layout, let me actually turn it so you can see it from your perspective. The layout is, your standard Japanese style joystick with the ball top. You've got 6 attack buttons, which are the 3 punches and 3 kicks for Street Fighter 4. And then knowing that any console obviously has additional buttons, you have these 2 buttons out here, which you can use for, you can program it during the game. If you want to have one be a focus attack or a throw, you could just be a 1-button push rather than having to actually press the button combinations here. It also comes with a couple cool features. There's a turbo button, so a lot of people, if they're practicing combos or whatever, or some people actually do play with turbo enabled for moves where you have to rapidly tap the button. If you use the turbo feature, you just hold down the button and it comes out. There's also different options here. First of all, there's a switch that lets you lock the joystick, which is great. If you're between matches and you don't accidentally want to activate a console or whatever, you can lock your joystick and basically it will not have any kind of interaction with the console until you unlock it. Then there's also the ability to change this joystick to either be your left thumbstick, right thumbstick, or the actual digital pad on your controller for either Xbox 360 or PS3. And that really doesn't come into effect with Street Fighter. In Street Fighter, it doesn't matter. It's going to have the same kind of control. But for other games, like let's say you wanted to play this on an arcade-style game, like you're playing, I don't know, Galaga on Xbox Live, and you're like, well, I want to play Galaga, but how do you control it? Maybe you need left thumbstick to move it in that game. You have the ability to change it. So anyway, the stick itself is pretty nice. The cord, as you can see, is very long. I don't want to unravel it right now because it's so long. But the cord is extremely long on this model of joystick. I actually found that we never had a problem when we were playing this, even like from far away from the TV. The cord's long enough to run across your entire room. And overall, it's not a bad stick. I would say a couple things is, first of all, as you can see, this is how I hold my stick when I play. I have it like a couple fingers. Most of my fingers are on the left-hand side of the stick. Sometimes I'll curl my fingers around the stick like so to hold it in place, but most of the time my hands are relaxed. It just kind of curls around the side of the stick like that. And my thumb is firmly on the other side of the joystick. And what I do when I play is I use these 3 fingers. So the pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger basically are always on top of the 3 punch buttons at all times. And then my thumb can actually come down to hit some kick buttons, or if it's a move like if you're Balrog and you're charging a turn punch like this, you actually use those fingers, as you can see. You use them to hold down the bottom 3 buttons while you can still do attacks with punch. So it's pretty cool button layout to do that. But anyway, Things I like about this stick and things I don't like about this stick. The first thing I like is the price point. This stick, when it came out, was only $70. You can actually go online right now, and I believe I bought this from buy.com for $40. So the price is excellent right now because it's last year's model. If you really need a joystick and you don't have a lot of money to spend, this might be the time to jump online and start looking at sticks like this one. But in addition to the price point, it's a pretty decent and compact stick. The cool thing about little sticks like this is they're easy to put on your lap when you're playing. If you don't necessarily have a flat surface like this coffee table, you can put this on your lap, and since it doesn't weigh a lot, I mean, it does have some weight to it, but it's not super heavy. It's easy to adjust and play with it on your lap. However, also the cord, like I said, I did like the fact that the cord is very long. That's a very definite plus. A lot of the times if you get a joystick with a short cord, it sucks because you might accidentally pull your console off the fucking shelf. You might yank the cord out of the joystick, and then you're pretty much throwing away your money. Two things that I actually don't like about this stick. The first is that the buttons in the joystick are white. And what I found is that if you just accidentally drop the stick, or you accidentally go, whack the stick around, this can get nicked and dirty, and it could look pretty shitty after a while. This usually happens with white sticks. If they get nicked or whatever, they can look pretty bad. But the second thing that I really don't like about this stick, and this is me being completely honest from playing with them for months, is that the buttons seem to die pretty quickly. I mean, some of my friends bought this stick brand new in the box, and after one night of playing for a couple hours, the fucking buttons were dying on them. And, they were hitting it, and it would come out half the time. It's like, come on, man, it's a new stick out of box, and within one night of playing, the buttons are dying on you. So that's kind of lame. These are not like official Japanese buttons. These are buttons manufactured by MadCatz, so that's why they're not exactly, up to par with the, collector's edition or tournament edition sticks. The one other thing that's kind of odd about this stick that you need to get used to is, I don't know if you can see it, but you see how there's an incline here? It's not straight. It actually goes straight to the front of the stick, and then it kind of leans downwards. I don't know if they thought, like, if people have their hands that it's more relaxed to do that. But for me, for years, when I was playing in arcades, when I was playing on other joysticks, they didn't have that incline. So for me, I'm used to having my hands, like, at a straight parallel to the stick. And so for me, it felt weird when I was playing with this stick. Like, it didn't feel like my hands were in the right place. I'm sure if I played with this stick a lot more, it would be easier. But for me, I wasn't really used to it. But the one really cool positive about this stick is that, number one, like I said, it's cheap. But number two, it's very easy to modify. A lot of my friends bought this stick, gutted the damn thing, and basically replaced the buttons with official Sanwa or Famitsu buttons, which are the Japanese tournament style buttons. And then they replaced the joystick as well. And you can buy, matching joystick. You have these all green with a green joystick. One of my friends actually had it orange with orange buttons, which was pretty cool because it matched some of the Street Fighter art on the stick. So overall, this stick, as an out-of-the-box item, if you paid like $70 to $80, which was the original price for this, I probably only rate it like maybe a 7, simply because it's good for the price. But now that this joystick is only $40, this I have to rate it like almost an 8.5, because the fact that you can modify it, the fact that, it's so cheap and it's easy to just jump right in, the long cord, it's got a lot of pros going for it. And if you don't get one that wears out right away like some of my friends did, it's a pretty damn good value for the price. But there are some other models of stick that we're going to talk about now. This was just the arcade edition. There's two other models that have come out since that I want to talk about. So next up, we're going to talk about the tournament edition stick of this joystick that came out in 2009.